Today we have with us Mr. Adam Thomson, the High Commissioner of United Kingdoms. He has been here for last 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, the relationship between the region, people and UK has been as old as the world wars. Today there is a great number of people out there. We would like to discuss these things with the British High Commissioner. The British High Commissioner has been focusing on to the education, trade and visa policies, and especially has been working on the flood reliefs. Welcome to the show, sir. As this show is regarding the Eid, I just would like to know that what is Eid to you?
It's a lot of different things because I have a complicated background. My wife is Iranian, she's a Muslim, so we celebrate Eid in the family. Okay. It mirrors here in Pakistan the way Eid is celebrated in Iran. So new clothes, gifts, in a sense a fresh start and a cleansing. It's a joyful moment after a month of fasting. Okay. For me and for my British staff, some of whom are Muslim, but not all, it's also a nice holiday because we work quite hard. Okay. And so it gives us a bit of a break to pause and reflect on where we're going as we enter the autumn.
Okay. You must have been seeing the people celebrating Eid in United Kingdom or maybe other parts of the world, and now you are here in Pakistan for the last 1 year. How is the Eid different here in Pakistan as compared to that?
I'm not sure it's all that different, actually, because it is, of course, very widely celebrated in the UK, in the British Muslim community, up and down the length and breadth of the country. There is usually an Eid party in Trafalgar Square with live shows and entertainment and things for children to do. I guess there are a few variations, in terms of dress or food and so on. But it's not so very different. People here in Pakistan, though, do take Eid very seriously. Pakistan is having a tough time, and it's nice to be able to come together with your family and your friends and just celebrate the good things you have in your life occasionally. That makes everyone feel better.
Very nice. I just would like to know that as you were coming here, there are many friends and family members of yours who might not have visited here. What were their views about Pakistan who have not been in Pakistan?
There is in general in Britain, a lot of misperceptions about Pakistan. I don't think that actually applies in my family because my parents were diplomats and they and I have both served in South Asia before. So I had a pretty good idea, and so did my family, of what I was coming to here. Mostly people were happy for me because this is, in the British system, the best ambassadorial job in the world.
Do you think after coming to Pakistan, your views have changed regarding Pakistan?
Yes, they have in some ways, and that is surprising to me because my last job in London, I was responsible for British foreign policy towards Pakistan. So I have been working on and with Pakistan since early 2006, in fact. And yet when I came here, I discovered that I was still on a steep learning curve. And it really impressed me how much more complicated life is in Pakistan and the issues are that Pakistan has to grapple with than appears to be the case when you're sitting back in London in the comfort of your Whitehall office.
Okay. For the knowledge sake, what are the duties in the charter of an embassy or a high commission?
Well, to put it at its simplest, it is to represent your country's interests abroad, in the country that is hosting you in particular. So my job here spans a very, very wide range of different subjects because the relationship between the United Kingdom and Pakistan touches so many different areas. So some of the time I may be looking at political issues, which is what people tend to associate, I think, with an ambassador. But in fact, I spend more of my time on education or on trade or on development assistance, or on the work of the British Council here, for example. Very, very broad span of engagement designed to boost our interests in Pakistan. And it's a nice job because at a deep level, actually British and Pakistani interests don't diverge very much. So I'm usually trying to help Pakistan succeed because I believe that what's good for Pakistan is also good for Britain.
Okay, Your Excellency, is there any special focus of you in the last 1 year which you have been following?
As I said, I've spread myself fairly thin. I've actually been here 18 months. I arrived in January last year. And what I've had to focus on has varied over time. So, we really had to focus in August and September last year on Britain's support for Pakistan's response to these devastating floods. But I guess if there's a single issue that I've really focused on, it has been support for Pakistan's education sector and the links between education in Pakistan and education in Britain, because I think that is good for both countries. It ties the two countries close together, and Britain has, I think, an unparalleled offer to Pakistan in the education sector in terms of how we can help.
There are a lot many students, as you have brought the education, a lot many students visit United Kingdom for the higher education. Do you think that UK is coming up to that expectation level of the students?
I sincerely hope so. I get pretty good feedback from student organisations of Pakistani students in the UK. There's a very good one called the National Union of Pakistani Students and Alumni that I'm in touch with. And mostly I think they have a good experience. And I guess that's borne out by the fact that we have seen over recent years a rising number of Pakistani students going to the UK. I want to see even more going, so we're sort of pushing the advantages of British education. It's the cheapest, it's still expensive for anybody, including Pakistani students, but it's the cheapest overseas English language destination for good education in the world, cheaper than the United States or Australia, for example.
Okay, since you said that it is expensive but maybe cheaper than United States, but do you think that the fee structures for the Pakistani students or the foreign students is much higher than the local students?
Well, it's the way we've chosen to organize ourselves for several decades now, is that we are still subsidizing higher education for British students, and it is still cheaper for students from the European Union than it is for other nationalities. But what Pakistani students are charged is exactly what, Indians or South Africans are charged.
And do you lay a special emphasis that these students get their student visas to go to their universities in time?
Yeah, I'm rather passionate about that because we had some real difficulties with our visa system in 2009. I'm very happy to say that last year the educational consultants we spoke to and some students who were kind enough to give us feedback said it was the best experience in many years, and I think we managed to get every single genuine student to the UK with a visa in time for the start of their courses. And we're trying to do exactly the same this year, of course.
Relationship with United Kingdom dates back to our independence or even before than that. It has matured over the year, but maybe not gone as stronger as it should have been. What's the reason for it?
I hope it's pretty strong. It is at a people-to-people level, and it goes in both directions. I count myself the fifth generation of my family to have served in South Asia, including relatives who have served in pre-independence Pakistan. And of course a lot, as you said in your introduction, a lot of Pakistanis who have migrated to the UK. But I think it can be stronger, and we're very keen to work at that, to build it up. It's the links between ordinary people, I think, that lays the foundations for a strong relationship between governments.
If I ask a direct question, what is the criteria of judging a friend or foe for United Kingdom?
I don't think we look at the world in those terms, to be honest. The famous British Prime Minister Palmerston said in the 19th century that you have no eternal allies or enemies, only eternal interests. And our interests are going to be for generations to come, working with Pakistan to see that this country really flourishes, because that is in our interests. So we pursue the world as we find it, and here in Pakistan we have tremendous opportunities for working together.
Okay. There must be a solution in your mind, or in UK's perspective, as a solution to the terrorism. How would you define that?
Goodness me! I mean, that's a very large subject. Look, we all know. I mean, there's no single simple solution. This requires very, very patient work, real sensitivity to the particular situation in each country that is suffering from terrorism. Pakistan suffers worse than any other country in the world and has made greater sacrifices in combating terrorism than any other country in recent times. We too have terrorism in the United Kingdom, and I think we're all learning together what it is going to take to overcome this scourge that does so much damage to our communities.
But is there any shortcoming, underlying shortcoming, which is disturbing the UK legislator?
In terms of our performance?
In terms of Pakistan performance, because Pakistan, as you said, has been facing the biggest blow against the war against terrorism. So is there any specific shortcomings?
I don't think I would single anything out. I mean, we're working as positively as we are able with the Pakistani authorities to help them in their combating of this menace. I think admirably the Pakistan government and authorities have recognized that this is Pakistan's own fight. It's got to find these solutions. It's not going to be foreigners like me who tell you how to do it. There are very real challenges for any country, including Pakistan, in learning how to deal with a menace like this and in building capacity to tackle it and summoning the popular and political will to address it. But I think these things are being done.
Okay, many Pakistanis here in Pakistan and in UK must be seeing you right now, and they would like to focus on one subject, that is the visa. Is there any specific policy criteria for the visa, for the applications which qualifies?
There is one criterion, which is to treat everyone equally and fairly, and that's really important. So we don't discriminate between different nationalities applying for visas where there is a visa regime.
Because at some point, many of the established Pakistanis or many of the Pakistanis who expect that visas should have been issued, they are denied. So what is your word to them?
Well, we will have denied their visas for a reason. In many cases, it is because we have a fairly elaborate visa procedure. We've got a big form to fill out, and we ask people to provide a lot of documentation. And I do find there is a cultural difference between our love of lots of forms and paper.
Your Excellency, I would like you to deliver a message to people of Pakistan on the Eid and the British Pakistanis watching you in England.
Well, I mean, it's very simple. It's Eid Mubarak. It's be joyous. This is a happy celebration. Please know that, as my Prime Minister said in a speech at Comsat's University when he visited Pakistan earlier this year, the British people will be with Pakistan every step of the way. We are not going to turn our backs on Pakistan. we want to work with you. And I think, in this Eid period, we can celebrate some of the things that we have achieved together. So, Eid Mubarak.
Thank you very much for being with us. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, both of the countries are the member of the Commonwealth, though there have been times of the temperature with lukewarms. But the heads of the state from both countries visit to each other. It was said by the Prime Minister Cameron that there is an unbreakable relationship between UK and Pakistan, and that is based on the mutual interest. And it was responded back by the President, that is, storms will come and storms will go, but the both countries will face these difficulties with dignity. I sign off from here to see you in another program. Khuda Hafiz.